Hey, welcome to Shadow Shorts. My name is Jeff Eccles. I'm a senior advisor and head of marketing at Shadow Partners, and I am joined today by Adam Stark. He's a co-founder at Jet.Build, and got the opportunity to talk to Adam today about data in development. So, Adam, welcome. Glad you're here with me today.
Jeff, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here on the show.
Oh, it's great to have you here. One of the things that I noticed as I look around, innovation in the built environment, and sometimes even traditional work in the built environment, there's more and more emphasis, of course, on data. That extends all across our lives, right? You buy something from Amazon, you do whatever on Facebook, data, data, data everywhere. Um, but I thought maybe we could start the conversation by asking how are things changing and what's important, what's different in 2023 about data specifically in real estate development?
Yeah, great question. Great topic for us in the industry, right? Taking one step back first is Joseph, my co-founder, and I, came from industry working for developers on construction sites every day, and it was very quick for us to realize how much data was lost in our day-to-day via, siloed stakeholder environments, whether that be Excel files or email chains, and our attempt to collect this thing for the developer from contracting teams, design teams, so on and so forth, and use it right forward, whether it be
Right.
for active projects, whether it be historical, down the line. And we recognize that one, we were wasting tons and tons of time in terms of collecting that information. Two, lots of that information was falling through the cracks, just naturally so, being in siloed environments. And three, that there's a lot there we can leverage. And I like to bring up what is really a driving force to projects and our product in general is submittals and RFIs, right? So in creating a simplified central platform that could collect information in terms of responsibilities, when things are due, status overall, in 3 clicks, you can have this macro overview of what's going on as it relates to RFIs and submittals, which is powered by data, right? So that's just a easy example of like the power that data can provide when you're not working in silos.
Yeah, you brought up what I think is a really great point because a lot of us collect a lot of data and don't do anything with the data,
Mhm.
right? It's like collection for the sake of collection, I guess. When so I know that when you and Joseph founded JetBuild, right? You started with the problems that you saw in your own projects, which I think is a
Mhm.
great way. That's a great way to start the innovation process. Hey, here's a problem. We're experiencing it. There's probably somebody else that's experiencing it. How do we solve this? Um, were you in that same boat at that time? Were you collecting data and not doing anything with it, or was it the opposite, not collecting enough data?
I would say it's a combination of both, right? I mean, the data we're collecting was really difficult to actually leverage back to that kind of understanding of Excel and email chains, right? So in theory, yeah, we had information just from our own kind of manual entry, whether that be internal or taking the external stakeholders and plugging it into our own internal, i.e., Excel files. But very very difficult to kind of produce valuable data. It would be outdated, basically on a day-to-day basis, right? Because it's all
Mhm.
this manual entry, and that was when the thought process started to turn, right? The wheel started to turn in terms of, okay, how could we do this better?
Right, right. So if I'm a real estate developer, right, it's 2023. We're almost mid-year at this point,
Mhm.
or we are mid-year
We are now
2023. Yeah, happy June 1st, everybody.
today.
Today. That's pretty timely. Um, so, I'm looking at a development project. Maybe I'm kicking it off this year, maybe early 2024. How does the collection of historical data, how's that informing me as I go forward? And what are best practices in collecting and using data?
Definitely. So, this concept of data collection moving forward and for historical purposes, this compounding effect, right? So, the more
Mm.
you centralize your information in a structured format, going back to that example of RFIs and submittals, you can go to examples of like bidding and budget management. You can go to as far as insurance documentation and permit management, right?
Mm.
You're taking all of these touch points and understanding, okay, it costed me X amount, it took X amount of time frame. let me look back and see, for a similar or maybe exactly the same asset class and building type,
Mhm.
what was the cost and time frame it took me that I can now, leverage as a very good pre-con type thought process to understand what my current project will take on budget and schedule.
Yeah. Does it have when you approach it in that way that you're talking about, does it have um, of course, there's the planning and project management
Mhm,
aspect of it, certainly. Um, but I also want to know, the bottom line of my pro forma.
mhm.
What about my profitability, my ROI, I guess we could look at it that way. Um, what kind of effect does data have on that, or these processes and systems that we're talking about? What kind of effect could that potentially have on the bottom line of my performance?
For sure. So going back to our Joseph and I, co-founder and I's experience, we quickly recognized how much time we were wasting, right? Whether it was pulling these silo data into one place that again got outdated in literally a day, whether it was reminding all of the stakeholders in terms of what they were responsible for, where responses need to occur, deliverables need to happen, so on and so forth. So first of all, you're now empowering more people. You're empowering the same people to do more, right? Because of
Mhm.
just simple automations and reminders. Um, so ROI in terms of time will occur pretty quickly. You'll notice that almost immediately. If you could imagine just email reminders or just task reminders you have on your phone for any various life life things that happen. It's the same kind of dynamic, except now it's occurring across external stakeholders, which is something that's super time consuming. Um, Second is again the ability to better plan. Back to that question for looking at a new development and referencing historical information. So now in referencing historical, which could even be active, right, active ongoing projects, you can have a better concept, better idea of what that schedule and budget should be to then plan better for immediate or near future.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Having put together a lot of performers in a past life, I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel that, in fact.
Totally, yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
good.
even that actually just reminded me as you said that making pro formas from the past is you also have the ability to copy paste and manipulate, right? So
Mm,
the repetitive nature of things is almost removed or reduced to its entirety if you're not changing much. We have clients that are building um, like what sorry, I'm blanking there is Whole Foods or like 7-Elevens,
mm,
for example, right? So lots of that is repetitive work that can be copy pasted and manipulated slightly
right.
for very strong understanding of what to be should look like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes total sense. I love it. And we talked about RFIs and the collection of data and Excel spreadsheets, but what we haven't talked about is Jet.Build. So, as we wrap up this conversation, can you tell us a little bit about Jet.Build and maybe the benefit of using Jet.Build?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of the touch points that I was talking about relate to features and solutions that we've implemented in Jet.Build. So coming from industry, being site operators, we recognize lots of these pain points, whether it be construction operations like those RFIs and submittal process, or Gantt chart scheduling, whether it be collaboration needs like meeting minutes and permit management, or project accounting like budgets, bid management, and payment apps. We've really took all of construction operations and development needs into one platform that enables collaboration across all your stakeholders, which also naturally creates accountability for better efficiency for on time, budget, and on schedule project delivery.
Nice. I love it. So there you go. You can manage your construction, your project data using a tool like Jet.Build. Down at the lower left corner of the screen, you can see the URL jet.build, where you can find more information, or you can reach out to Adam here. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, it'll be easy to reach out to Adam. If you're seeing this maybe on YouTube or another platform, go to jet.build and reach out to the Jet.Build team. Um, Adam, thank you for this conversation. It's great, I think, for us to learn. No matter where you are in the built environment, no matter the work that you're doing in the built environment, it's great to understand, break down the silos and understand what's driving the design and construction, the efficiencies and management of these projects. So thanks for sharing today about data and development.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, great to have you here. Again, my name is Jeff Eccles. I'm Senior Advisor and the Head of Marketing for Shadow Partners. One thing we've got coming up later this year in October, the 25th and 26th of October, is what we call Shadow Summit. It is our 2-day conference, if you will. It'll be in Atlanta this year. And the other day, our CEO, KP Reddy, I thought he explained what Shadow Summit is pretty well. He said, we're this year, 2023 Shadow Summit is going to be a Cliff Notes version of everything that's happened in terms of innovation in the built environment. And it's also going to be your preview of what's coming in 2024, what you should plan for, what you should budget for 2024. So the URL for Shadow Summit website's still in development. We're still getting more information up there about the upcoming summit, but shadowsummit.com is where you would go to learn more about that. I'll be back tomorrow with another Shadow Sword. This is a new series for us. Watch for the podcast version of this to be relaunched again soon. But join us again tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and other places across the internet for Shadow Shorts. Should have thought differently about that name. That's really hard to say. So for Adam at Jet.Build and myself at Shadow Partners, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.